You cannot be the first person to fall asleep. You have to do everything in your power to make sure of this, because falling asleep first doesn't just mean all the fun at the sleepover ends. No, it's actually the opposite. Falling asleep first is right when the party starts. The moment that first person closes their eyes, the energy in the room changes. Suddenly, everyone becomes ninjas, being as quiet as possible, all thinking the exact same thing. It's time to mess with our friend. Everyone knows this, which is why the fight to stay awake is so intense. You will see someone who has clearly been half asleep for about 20 minutes suddenly bounce up and say something random just to prove they're still conscious. My friend once brought a spray water bottle with him that he would splash in his face anytime his eyes started to shut. And the moment it finally happens, with him that he would splash in his face anytime his eyes started to shut. And the moment it finally happens, the moment someone actually pulled it so that he looked less like someone who was sleeping and more like someone who was just sitting there with their eyes closed, posing for the picture. Kind of like this. And what did we do next? Maybe send it to his crush? No. Took the picture to make him look like this. Well, because of that, we made the caption on this post 3 words. And he knew exactly what must have happened last night. So how did he react? Let's just say he did not find it nearly as funny as we did, which is fair. The sleepover early. They're nearly impossible to get to come in the first place. It takes days of begging them in the group chat for them to click with this friend. They get there for the beginning of the night and things will seem fine. But at some point, literally out of nowhere, they'll go quiet. You can watch it happening if you're paying attention. They reach for their phone, send a quick text, and within 10 minutes, there's a car outside. And the excuses for why they had to leave are never real excuses. They're vague enough that you can't argue against them, but specific enough that you know they were made up 15 minutes ago. Their stomach hurts, their fish drowned and they need to go bury it. And you cannot argue with their stomach hurting. What are you gonna say? Show me your insides to prove it? Last time I said that to someone, I got a restraining order. But even if you could prove that they were lying, if they don't wanna be there, it's just gonna kill the vibe if they stay anyway. So some of the people that are like this would just take matters into their own hands, which means when they wanna leave, they just do it without telling anyone. At some point during the night, you and your friends look around and realize Craig is gone. And you're thinking, did he pass away? Did my dog eat him? But then you call him to see if he's alive, and he answers. So you say,
Bro, where did you go?
and he just answers with,
Oh, I left an hour ago.
so you ask why, and he tells you he wanted to sleep in his own bed. I respect when they do this more than just making up a fake excuse. At least this is valid. I understand that you would rather sleep in the comfort of your own home rather than on a living room floor with a pizza box, as it is sleep talking, which I tend to do. And I still remember the night my friends found out I sleep talked, because I was in deep sleep one night, and out of nowhere, I get waken up feeling like I'm drowning because a bucket of water just got splashed on my face. So I asked my friends what the heck that was for, and they tell me they thought I was possessed. I was convinced they must have just been pulling a prank on me and that was their excuse. But then they showed me a recording of myself, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of did look like I was possessed. I'm literally lying there with my eyes closed like this. It sounded like I was about to cast a spell on everyone in that house. Now, when they showed me that video, I understood why. They were supposed to take us to a different country, and it was just super frustrating. So just imagine how much more annoyed we got when we opened the door to our hotel room and see that there was only one star. If you have absolutely no idea what I mean by that, I'm basically saying he does not sleep still. Picture this. You get it in 3rd grade? Like, I don't even remember if I ate breakfast this morning, let alone if I robbed you in elementary school. One time, someone even messaged me asking if I was their Uber driver back in 2015. And I was like, you know, I don't think so, considering the fact that I was 12. So when I saw this message, my first thought was, oh great, another person that thinks we're related because we both probably have brown hair and a horrible side profile. There's a reason I never turn my head in my videos. So I was about to just ignore the message and keep scrolling. But then they sent another message. And this message said, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm pretty sure we have the same dad. And then he sent my dad's full name and date of birth. Although I still didn't believe anything this person was saying, now I was intrigued, because how does this random person know my dad's full name? That's not information I've ever posted online. I don't go around making videos like, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm gonna be revealing my dad's social security number. Like, my dad barely even uses social media. Up until last year, whenever I told him I was watching TikToks, he thought I meant that I was just staring at a clock. This man ain't even an unk, all right? He's Gramps. So the point is, there's no way this person should know my dad's information unless they knew him personally. And keep that in mind for the rest of the video. So now I'm just sitting there looking at my phone like, what is going on? My first instinct was to think that this was just some elaborate prank. Maybe one of my friends put someone up to this as a joke, but that couldn't have been the truth because I don't have friends. So I decided to do what any rational person would do in this situation. I started stalking their page. And when I say stalking, I went full FBI mode. I'm zoom, same, sure. So now I'm thinking, okay, either this is the most elaborate Photoshop job in my life, which still doesn't explain the shirt, or I might actually be related to this person. And let me tell you, the thought of my dad having a secret kid was terrifying to me because my dad is the most straightforward, honest person I know.
From cleaner teeth to a gorgeous coat, there's a benefit for every copycat.
He sounded like he was being genuine. He wasn't being dramatic or over the top about it. No, it just sounded like this dude wanted to know his real dad. And I started to feel bad for them because right now, actually, you just can't tell. Matter of fact, I knew if I wanted to get to the bottom of this, I had to do it. So I agreed. We decided to meet up at a coffee shop, which I figured would be a safe space in public, just in case. If things got weird, I could leave. Or say I got explosive diarrhea from the coffee, which actually does happen. The day of the meetup, I was a nervous wreck. If everything they were saying was true, this would be a life-altering day. And I didn't know if I was emotionally ready for that. Like, you're talking to a guy who cried during the Boss Baby movie, so I couldn't handle this. And like, also, if they were telling the truth, that would have meant that they were technically my brother. And I already got about 500 siblings in the comment sections of my videos, so I wouldn't have been surprised if I had another one. I got in my car, hands shaking, and drove to the coffee shop. When I finally walked in, he was already sitting there. The moment I saw him, I tried to look for any resemblance. Do they have my dad's nose, his smile, his receding hairline, his weirdly specific way of sneezing that sounds like a car horn? But honestly, I couldn't tell. They just looked like a normal person. Definitely could have been related, but I didn't know for sure.